哎呦，全跑了。
China engulfed in disaster, floods, landslides, and the looming super typhoon Danis. July 6, 2025. While many parts of the world are enjoying a vibrant summer holiday, China is bracing itself against a series of brutal natural disasters. Torrential rains continue to hammer several provinces, triggering widespread flooding, landslides, and forcing millions to live in fear. And just as the country struggles to recover, a new threat emerges: Super Typhoon Danis, expected to make landfall in less than 48 hours. Since late June, multiple regions in China have experienced record-breaking rainfall, the most in decades. In provinces such as Yunnan, Shenyang, Sichuan, and Gansu, relentless downpours have turned streets into rivers. Vehicles have been swept away, homes destroyed, and tens of thousands of residents evacuated overnight. In Shenyang, prolonged heavy rains submerged the entire city. Streets became canals, and cars floated like toys. One resident bitterly remarked, "We don't need to travel, the ocean has come to our doorstep." Similar scenes unfolded in Yunnan and western Sichuan, where the steep terrain causes floodwaters to rush down swiftly. Meteorologists have warned that prolonged rainfall and accumulated water could trigger secondary disasters, including landslides, dam failures, and large-scale flash floods. Between July 3 and 5, Gansu province faced one of its worst natural disasters of the year. Heavy rains pounded Longnan city, severely affecting more than 85 towns and villages across 5 counties. Areas like Weishan, Wugu, Kangxian, Wenxian, and Chengxian were nearly completely cut off. Major roads collapsed, water buildup paralyzed traffic, and landslides buried some roads in mud, severing connections between communities. In Zhangmiao town, part of a mountain collapsed overnight, blocking 3 key village routes. Local authorities mobilized thousands of rescue workers and activated the highest-level red alert in China's natural disaster warning system. Police, firefighters, medics, and military personnel were swiftly deployed to conduct rescue missions, distribute supplies, and evacuate residents to safety. One bright spot amid the crisis was the emergency effort to restore traffic on Provincial Highway 206, which had been completely destroyed by floods earlier in July. Hundreds of workers and machines labored around the clock, seizing every rain-free hour to reopen this critical route. By noon on July 6, partial traffic had resumed, allowing relief vehicles to reach the disaster epicenter. Tens of thousands of relief items, blankets, folding beds, survival kits were distributed in time to the hardest-hit areas. Weishan County alone received over 50,000 emergency supplies today. While mountainous provinces battle the floods, another menace is building offshore: Typhoon Danis, the 4th typhoon to hit China this year. Forming early on July 5, Danis rapidly intensified and is now approaching the mainland with gusts of up to level 13, or roughly 160 kilometers per hour. As of 5 a.m. on July 6, its center was located 270 kilometers southwest of Kaohsiung, Taiwan, moving north-northeast at 10 kilometers per hour. Forecasts indicate landfall between northern Fujian and Zhejiang during the night of July 7 or early morning of July 8. Given the seriousness of the situation, China's National Meteorological Center has issued a yellow alert, one level below the highest. Many local governments have quickly implemented emergency measures. Fujian Province activated a Level 2 emergency response for maritime ports and vessels. 50 marine construction projects were halted. Ferry routes were cancelled. Zhejiang and Guangdong have also issued emergency warnings, urging preparations for mass evacuations if needed. Under Donus's influence, rainfall in central and eastern China is expected to spike dramatically over the next 3 days. Particularly at risk are Sichuan, Fujian, and Zhejiang provinces that have already endured high rainfall in recent weeks. More torrential rain could now push them over the edge. River levels are expected to exceed warning thresholds, raising the risk of urban flooding, large-scale landslides, and sudden flash floods. The Chinese government has raised the national typhoon and flood response to Level 2 and dispatched elite rescue teams to high-risk zones. According to Chinese meteorological experts, this series of disasters is no coincidence. Climate change, the La Nina effect, and unchecked urbanization have overwhelmed drainage systems in many cities. Additionally, the country's mountainous terrain with steep slopes and interwoven rivers makes China particularly vulnerable to prolonged heavy rains. Beneath the cold statistics are millions of people living in fear. They stay awake at night to monitor rising waters. They push mud-soaked vehicles through the streets and cling to rooftops to escape floods. One driver in Longnan, sobbing, said, "I can lose my truck and my goods. Just don't let us lose people." In a school in Gansu, a teacher risked her life to guide 23 students across a swollen stream using a rope. Once all the children were safe, she collapsed from exhaustion, a moment captured on a rescue team's camera, moving millions across Chinese social media. Nature is no longer the gentle force we once believed. In the early days of July 2025, China is facing a harsh truth. Rain is no longer just summer showers. It's a violent onslaught from the sky. Floods are no longer confined to farmlands. They now engulf entire cities. And the wind is no longer a seasonal breeze. It's a roaring wrath from the sea, as Donus threatens every hour. We may not be able to choose the weather, but we can choose how we respond to it. In Shenyang, Gansu, Sichuan, people are not giving up. Even after losing homes, roads, and the most basic sense of security, they press on, sharing rations, holding on to one another, refusing to be swept away by the tide. Are we now paying the price for past mistakes? For paving over nature's flow with concrete and forgetting how the earth breathes? Have we truly prepared for this era of extreme weather? More importantly, what can we learn from this disaster about humanity, unity, and our responsibility to the planet? Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your perspective, not just about what's happening in China, but how you are preparing for the uncertain future we're all heading into. Nature is speaking. The question is, are we really listening? Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us as we continue to track global weather events. Dive deep into the facts, and leave no truth uncovered.